Would I be the asshole if I don't let my dying mother meet the son she stole? I was 15 when I found out I was pregnant. I won't lie, I was terrified. But I wasn't alone. The father of my baby, my boyfriend, stood by me. His parents too weren't thrilled about two teenagers about to have a child, but they didn't run. They helped. His uncle owned a small restaurant and I got a job waitressing there. Nights and weekends. My boyfriend worked at his dad's auto parts store. Every dollar we earned, we saved. It wasn't much, but it was ours, and we were determined to make it work, for the baby. My parents, on the other hand, were a different story. The moment I told them, it was like a switch flipped. They were furious. They told me to get rid of it. When I refused, they pushed adoption. When I refused that, they pushed me out entirely, kicked me out of the house like I was trash. I went to live with my boyfriend's family. They treated me with care. They were kind, even when everything felt like it was falling apart. But my parents didn't leave us alone. My dad tried to fight my boyfriend in the street. My mom cornered his mom in a mall and screamed at her in front of strangers. It was relentless. I cut them off completely. I didn't want that anger around me or around my baby. Months passed. Then, out of nowhere, my parents called. They said they'd had a change of heart, that they didn't want to lose me, that they wanted to be there for me and their grandchild. I wanted to believe them. My boyfriend's parents said I should at least hear them out. So I did. And I regret that every single day. I moved back in with my parents a few weeks before my due date. At first, things seemed different. They were calmer, nicer even. My mom would make tea and ask about the baby. My dad kept his distance, which was honestly an improvement. I tried to tell myself that people change, that maybe they'd realized how wrong they'd been. The night I went into labor, I was at their house. My boyfriend and his parents were supposed to be on standby, ready to come to the hospital. But when the contractions started, my parents insisted on taking me themselves. They said they couldn't reach anyone, claimed they'd been calling for hours. I was in too much pain to think straight, and they promised to keep trying. At the hospital, things moved fast. I was exhausted, scared. I kept asking if they'd gotten through to my boyfriend. My mom would just shake her head and say, "Not yet, honey, just focus on breathing." I trusted her. I wanted to believe she was telling the truth. After I gave birth, they brought me some paperwork to sign. My mother said it was hospital forms, standard stuff. I was barely awake, my body aching, my head foggy. I signed where she pointed. I didn't know what I was signing. They were adoption papers. When I realized what had happened, it was already too late. My baby was gone. Just gone. They told me it was for the best, that I was too young, that I'd thank them one day, but all I felt was hollow. They stole him from me, took him right out of my arms and handed him to strangers, and then they acted like I should be grateful. When I left the hospital, I didn't go back to their house. I went straight to my boyfriend and his family. I told them everything. We cried together. None of us had even known I'd given birth until it was already over. They never got a call. My parents never even tried. A few days later, my parents had me taken from my boyfriend's home, forced me back into theirs. I ran away. They dragged me back, again and again. I became a prisoner. They said I was too emotional, too unstable. They acted like I was the one who needed help. Eventually, the only way they let me go was after I tried to end my life. That was what it took for them to finally stop. I didn't speak to them after that. My boyfriend and I stayed together. We got married when I was 22. It wasn't some big romantic event, just a simple courthouse ceremony. Afterward, we had a barbecue in my in-laws' backyard. Their kind of celebration. Easy, warm, real. A year later, we had our second child. That pregnancy was different. The trauma of what had happened the first time was still there, heavy and quiet. My husband didn't leave my side. He was in the delivery room with me. I wanted his mom there too. His dad and siblings waited just outside. Some might have said it was too much. But for us, it was what we needed to feel safe. In total, I gave birth to 4 children. We raised them with love, laughed with them, protected them, but no matter how full our house was, there was always something missing. Every year on the same day, we felt it. My husband would buy a Matchbox car. I'd bake rhubarb sponge pudding. We didn't even know if our son liked either of those things, but we did it anyway. It was our way of remembering, of holding on to something that had been ripped away. 4 years ago, I was out of town with my oldest daughter at a softball camp. It was just a normal day, hot, long, and tiring. Then my phone rang. It was my husband. He didn't say much, just told me to come home immediately. His voice wasn't panicked, but something in his tone made my heart race. I asked if everyone was okay. He said yes, but that I needed to get back. Now. I pulled my daughter out of camp early and started the drive home. My mind ran in circles the whole way, wondering what could have happened. When we got there, I stepped into our house and saw him. Our son. He was standing in our living room, tall and nervous, fidgeting with his hands. My husband was beside him, looking like he was trying not to fall apart. I froze. Every part of me wanted to run to him, but my legs wouldn't move. I just stood there, staring, barely breathing. My daughter looked between us, confused at first, then quiet. It's hard to explain what it felt like. Joy, grief, relief, guilt, all crashing down in a single overwhelming wave. He had come looking for us. He said he'd always wondered, that his parents, his adoptive parents, had told him about us, that one day, if he ever felt ready, they would help him find us. And they did. We didn't talk much that day. We didn't need to. Just being in the same room again felt like enough. After 20 years of silence, we finally had our son back. From that day on, he became a part of our lives again. It didn't happen overnight, but it happened naturally. We started with video calls, short ones at first, mostly just to say hi and get used to each other. Then they got longer. We'd talk about his day, his job, the games he liked. My younger son started gaming with him online. My daughter, well, she found new and creative ways to be annoyed by him, which only made him try harder to get under her skin. They adored him, all three of them. He told us about the couple who raised him. They had adopted him as a baby, an older couple who couldn't have kids of their own. He was their only child, and from everything he shared, they gave him a good life. He never once made it sound like he lacked anything. They were loving, present, supportive. They passed away a few years ago, just days apart. He said it nearly broke him. But not long before that, when he told them he wanted to try finding us, they gave him their full support. His adoptive father had even found us, quietly years ago, and had kept the information safe, waiting until the time was right. He spent his first Christmas with us that same year he came back. We cleared the whole month for him. It was chaos, and it was perfect. And on his birthday, we flew to him. We still do. Turns out I was wrong about the rhubarb. He hates it. Doesn't like cake either. So now I bake him a peach sponge pudding. He says it's his favorite, even if it's not. I think he just likes that I make it for him. And every year on the week his parents passed, we visit him. We sit with him. We remember them too. I never got to meet them, never got to thank them, but I'm grateful to them every single day. A few weeks ago, my father reached out. Not to me, he wouldn't dare, but to my in-laws. He said my mother was dying, that they both had regrets, that they wanted to make peace before it was too late. I didn't respond. I didn't even need to think about it. Every part of me recoiled at the idea. The thought of facing them again, of pretending there was something to mend, was unbearable. They took my child. They tore my life apart. And now, decades later, they wanted a moment of grace. Some neat little ending to ease their own guilt. They could choke on it for all I cared. But not everyone saw it the same way. My husband, who had never once spoken kindly of them since the day they betrayed us, surprised me. He said maybe we should go. Not for them, but for us. He wanted them to see. To witness what they tried to destroy and failed. Our family, our children, the life we built without them. He wanted to walk in with all of us, including the son they stole, and let them sit in the weight of everything they missed. I didn't say anything. I just looked at him, wondering how he could be so calm, so calculated. But I understood. He didn't want healing. He wanted them to leave this world with a fresh wound, one they couldn't deny or forget. I told him I wasn't sure I could do it, that I didn't know if I could sit in that room and keep myself together. He said I didn't have to say a word. I've spent days thinking about it, replaying every moment. The way they lied, the way they isolated me, the way they smiled while stealing my child, telling me it was for my own good. And now they want closure. I think about our son, about the life he had, the love he was given, the stability we never could have offered at 16. My father-in-law said it plainly once, you wouldn't have had the life you have now if he'd stayed. And I know he's right, at least partly. We would have tried. We would have worked ourselves into the ground, but maybe it wouldn't have been enough. Maybe we would have crumbled. Maybe we wouldn't have made it. But I also know what we lost. Years, moments, first steps, first words, school plays, birthday candles, all of it gone, all of it taken. And even though he's back in our lives, even though we're closer than I ever thought possible, I still feel the scar of what was stolen. People close to me have different opinions. Some say I should let it go, meet with them, take the high road. Others say I owe them nothing, that they made their choice and now they can live with it. I'm tired of carrying their shame on my shoulders. I didn't do this. I didn't betray anyone. I was just a kid who trusted the wrong people. Now they want to look me in the eye and feel better before it's all over. But I'm not sure I want to give them that peace. So I'm here, asking honestly, would I be the asshole if I don't give my parents a chance before my mother dies?
The case has been heard. The stories have been told. Now it's your turn to judge. Leave your verdict in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. The Court of Stories is always in session.